The day I decided to donate my body, I called my brother for the first time in 7 years. It took a long time before the call finally connected. I took a deep breath, immediately told him why I was calling.
It's just a signature on the anatomical gift program paperwork. It won't take much of your time, Ethan.
But the man on the other end only spat out a single icy word.
No way.
The next second, the line went dead. He hung up without hesitation. Staring at my disconnected phone, I had no choice but to pack my baggage, take the documents with me, and board a flight to Manhattan, New York, to find him in person. By the time I arrived at the headquarters of his tech empire, it was right in the middle of his busiest moment of his new product launch event. He didn't spare me so much as a glance and casually signed the paperwork his assistant handed him. He wrote quickly.
One more clause. When you finally die, don't notify me.
I looked at that signature.
Okay.
After finishing my last anatomy lab of the day, I walked out of the medical school building carrying a stack of teaching materials. Without warning, I tripped on the perfectly level lawn. A dull, numb pain shot through my left calf. It seems I had twisted it. I struggled back to my office. The distance was barely 100 yards, yet by the time I got there, my back was already covered in a cold sweat. Since I had no classes scheduled that afternoon, I decided to drive to Massachusetts General Hospital.
I've probably just been overworking lately with a research project. Maybe a cold and muscle fatigue. Doctor, just prescribe some pain patches and cold medicine, please.
But when the doctor looked at my test results, his face grew serious, and he ordered me to undergo a full neurological examination. The final results came back the following afternoon. My eyes landed on the long, cold medical term written on the report, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis.
I don't understand. What does that mean?
The doctor handed me a cup of warm water.
In simpler terms, it's Lou Gehrig's disease.
I'm a medical teacher myself. There's no way I wouldn't understand what that term meant. It meant my body would freeze from the inside out. From my ankles, calves, fingers, one by one, they would lose function. I couldn't understand. How could a rare genetic disease like this have chosen me of all people? I took a 2 weeks leave from the medical school and locked myself in my apartment in Boston. I really need time to slowly process this death sentence. During the last 2 days of my break, I finally accepted reality and made the decision. If I was destined to die soon anyway, then I wanted to donate my body to the medical school where I taught, so it could be used for ALS research in the future. But after I finished filling out the anatomical gift consent form, one section remained blank. Next of kin signature. In this world, I only had one legal family member left. If I still had the nerve to call him my brother. Night fell, the apartment was cold and lifeless. My hands trembled as I picked up my phone. I dialed the number that had appeared so many times on the business magazine's cover.
Could you sign a body donation form for me?
The call finally connected. I awkwardly explained why I was calling, but the only response from the other end was a deathly silence. Second after second slipped by. In that stillness, so quiet a pin drop would have sounded deafening, my heart climbed into my throat. My palms grew damp with sweat, and without warning, my eyes began to burn. I thought I had already gone numb and prepared to face death. Yet in the wordless silence on the other end of the line, I was suddenly overwhelmed by a crushing sense of hurt and fear.
Ethan? Can you hear me? It's just a signature, just for legal formality. Don't worry, it won't take much of your time.
No sound is still coming from the phone.
Are you Ethan?
No way.
It is him, Ethan. Something lodged in my throat, and I couldn't force out a single word. Before I could make a sound, the line had already gone dead. The harsh disconnect tone rang in my ear. 7 years have passed, yet time had clearly done nothing to diminish his hatred for me. In the United States, without relative signature, a body donation could not proceed lawfully.
The progression of ALS varied from person to person.
Maybe I had a year, or maybe just only a few months. At any moment, my limbs and organs could begin to fail. I didn't know which day would be my last day of walking, or speaking, or moving at all, so I had to put everything in order before that happened. I booked a flight to New York that same night. After being out of contact for such a long time, it took considerable effort to track down Ethan's whereabouts after I landed. The next morning, I stand outdoor the most luxurious Michelin-starred restaurant in Manhattan.
Sorry, ma'am. Mr. Vance of Asteria Tech has reserved the entire restaurant today for his sister's birthday celebration. No outside guests are allowed.
I'm here to see Ethan. I'm his sister too.
Honestly, I was Ethan's only biological sister, a security guard in a tailored suit. Even shame, I could barely lift my head. The guard looked me up and down before he reached out to shove me away. At that moment, the restaurant's revolving glass doors opened. A A low, mocking chuckle echoed from afar.
You've got some nerve showing up here.
My heart sank instantly. Even after all these years, his voice still filled me with instinctive guilt and fear. I clenched the hem of my coat so tightly. At 26, Ethan had long since shed the last traces of the skinny one, 9-year-old boy he used to be. The boy who had once stood in a rundown apartment, crying desperately over the phone and begging me to come home and see our mother one last time was gone. Now he wears a custom-tailored suit. His eyes were colder than ice. Just then, a black Lincoln Navigator pulled up at the curb. Ethan turned and headed toward it.
Please, just sign it. Just one signature.
A young woman in a designer gown stepped out and called sweetly. It was Chloe, the daughter of Ethan's stepmother.
Big brother.
I didn't even have the courage to turn around and look at her. Ethan's gaze passed right over me. Today, he was the center of a grand gathering of New York's elite. Guests filled the venue, and he was clearly running out of patience. The moment I blocked his path, his expression darkened. He snatched the pen from my hand.
One more clause. When you finally die, don't notify me.
I took a deep breath. My own voice was barely audible. The words lodged in my throat like a fishbone.
Okay.
Hearing my answer,
Get out.
he couldn't even be bothered to spare me a glance. I held the signed document tightly and instinctively stepped back, making way for him. His words kept buzzing in my head. On the way to New York, I had imagined several possibilities. I thought he might question whether the document was fake or mock me for signing something like this at my age. He might even ask, in passing, what was wrong with me, but there was nothing. Only a swift, decisive signature filled with disgust. He didn't care whether I lived or died. I stood on that New York street for a long time in the freezing wind. By the time I snapped out of it, the restaurant was already buzzing with conversation and the clink of glasses. The winter wind pierced into my bones like needles. Dragging my numb body, I walked toward the subway station. Only a few miles did I suddenly remember I should have taken the taxi to the airport. By the time I returned to my apartment in Boston, it was already 2 a.m. I sat down in front of my computer and typed out a resignation letter. I planned to submit it to the dean of the medical school as soon as day broke. My phone lit up. It was a message from Julian. The dean said you took 2 weeks off. Where the hell did you go? If you don't call me back, I'm calling the police. Only then did I notice the dozens of missed calls and unread emails. Julian had been the legal counsel for my biological father's company before he went to prison. He was also the only person who had helped me all these years. He went to Los Angeles on a business trip and had only returned yesterday. I quickly called him back and brushed it off as a cold and exhaustion. Julian sighed over the phone.
Gigi, if you can't hold on, you have to tell me.
After hanging up, I stared at the printed resignation letter. At last, the tears fell. I reached out and tore the letter to shreds. Then I remembered I still owed Julian $50,000. It was money he had lent me for medical bills. He was struggling too. Before I died, I had to pay him back. There are a dozen days left before the semester end. As long as I could hold on until then, I would receive a $30,000 annual research bonus. Also, with the prize money from leading our team in the National Young Medical Researchers Competition, it would be enough to pay off my debt. I lowered my hand and touched my left calf, which had already begun to lose sensation. Just 15 more days. I should be able to make it. The next day, I returned to campus and taught the lessons as usual. But after my morning lecture ended, I saw Ethan standing outside the auditorium. Several university trustees and deans surrounded him. He stood among them, frowning as he looked coldly toward the podium. My entire body stiffened. For a moment, I thought I was hallucinating. Yesterday, he had been in Manhattan. How could he be standing on a Boston campus today? The dean walked over and gave me a meaningful look.
Don't tell me this is another one of your coincidences, Miss Vance.
I had no idea what he meant. Not until a blonde girl dressed in designer clothes walked out of the classroom and slipped to his side, wrapping her hand around his arm.
Ethan, you're here.
Only then did I realize that Chloe was the transfer student who had joined our medical program this year. I took a deep breath and explained.
I had no idea she was...
Resign.
I froze.
On what grounds?
Ethan looked down at me from above.
Because I don't trust you. Neither your character nor your ability to teach. I won't allow my sister to receive an education from someone like you. Someone like you.
I desperately held back the dull ache in my chest.
I refuse.
Then I can have Chloe transfer to Yale. As for the medical research building, Asteria Tech was planning to donate to your university, along with the $20 million research fund. Since the donation agreement hasn't been signed yet, I'm sure we can find another school to give it to.
Mr. Vance, Miss Vane, there must be some understanding here. Why don't we all sit down and talk this through?
Ethan told Chloe to wait for him in the car.
There's no need. I have nothing to discuss with Miss Vane. 3 days. Either she goes, or the funding goes. Give me your answer.
After saying that, he turned and left.
Gigi, don't worry. The university won't dismiss you without cause. If it comes to it, we'll simply decline the donation.
But I knew exactly what $20 million in research funding meant to this lab. It meant the future of dozens of PhD projects currently underway. Clenching my teeth, I hurried after Ethan just as he was about to leave the administration building.
Ethan, you can't do this.
And why can't I?
I took a deep breath and tried to steady the tremor caused by my worsening breathing.
We can talk this through. There's no need to drag personal grudges into the university.
Talk this through?
Ethan violently shook off my hand.
Miss Vance, are you seriously telling me a joke right now?
Once, in that rundown apartment, he had called me Gigi, softly and patiently with endless indulgence. Now, that mocking Miss Vance carried nothing but hatred carved into bone. He brushed at the sleeve of his suit where I had touched him, as if I were carrying some deadly infection.
Because our father was rich. A cheating bastard who hid assets during the divorce. You chose him without a second thought. You stood there and watched him use every dirty trick he could to force Mom out with nothing. For a limited edition Tiffany bracelet, you threw away your mother and your brother.
When Mom was dying in hospice and wanted to see you one last time, you coldly refused. It's been 7 years. You've never come home once. You've never even brought a single flower to her grave.
His eyes were slightly red, with a violent hatred burned beneath them.
Since you're such a selfish monster, why don't you tell me how exactly I'm supposed to have a nice talk with you?
The truth sat on my shoulders like a crushing weight, making every breath feel like a struggle. I bit my pale lips so hard it nearly bled. After what felt like an eternity, I finally managed.
Things weren't as simple as they looked.
Oh? Really? Then tell me, what earth-shattering reason did you have? Go ahead. I'm listening.
I opened my mouth, but my throat felt frozen shut. At this point, my life had already entered its final countdown. What good would telling him the truth do? Let him find out he'd spent all these years hating the wrong person, only to end up holding my corpse and tormenting himself for the rest of his life.
Finally run out of lies? You're willing to come begging me over a lecturer's job that pays, what, a few tens of thousands a year? Isn't it because old Charles Vance went to prison for his Ponzi scheme and your good life came crashing down?
I closed my eyes.
Then, believe that's what happened?
I turned to leave, but suddenly, he grabbed my wrist.
What?
The force was so brutal it felt as though my bones might shatter.
Did I hit a nerve? Trying to run away now?
I used every bit of strength I had to pull my hand free, but at that moment, the numbness in my legs surged through me like a tidal wave, stripping away what little strength remained. I had barely taken a step when the world suddenly spun. The next second, I crashed hard onto the freezing concrete. To anyone watching, falling flat on level ground looked embarrassingly staged. Ethan looked down on me, who was lying there in a helpless state.
It's been years, and I can't say you've gotten any better at anything else. But your fake sick act has definitely become more convincing.
He probably wanted to mock me a little at first, but what he saw made him feel disgusted.
You're just like that old bastard.
He walked right past me.
You both deserve it.
I sat on the ground for a long time before I managed to stand up, trembling with the support of the wall. I submitted my resignation letter and walked away from the campus to which I had devoted all of my youth. Julian's car is already waiting at the school entrance.
Who the hell does Ethan think he is? How can he treat you like this?
Just then, Ethan's car emerged from the underground parking garage. He lowered the window and curled his lips into a mocking smile.
Ethan! Do you know what Gigi's been through all these years?
Stop. Please don't.
Julian's jaw tightened, his fists clenched, and said nothing.
I'll find a way to pay you back as soon as possible.
Julian's hand touched my forehead.
You have a fever, G. Stop talking nonsense.
For a moment, I felt as though I had been thrown back more than 10 years into the past.
Gigi, are you running a fever again? What silly things are you saying?
A snowstorm hit just as school let out. Mom was holding Ethan's hand in mine as she walked us home. When we pushed open the apartment door, our father was sitting in the living room. Beside him sat a heavily made-up woman. Mom began trembling as she cried.
Gigi, don't look.
Then get a divorce. What wealthy man doesn't have another woman on the side?
Vanessa is pregnant. I have to take responsibility for her and the child.
You must leave with nothing. Otherwise, don't expect a single cent in support.
After a long and exhausting divorce battle, Mom accepted. She gave up the assets. The only thing she fought to keep was custody of Ethan and me. We moved from an affluent neighborhood downtown to an aging apartment complex. Mom worked 3 jobs a day while somehow still finding time to beg lawyers for help. Ethan and I only had each other. Every day after school, he would wait for me outside the gates. To save $2 on subway fare, we walked more than half an hour home. Whenever I complained that my feet hurt,
Come on, Squit. Your brother's got you.
but the price of carrying me home was another attack from his congenital heart condition that night. Panicked, I ran to the drawer to find his medication. Only then did I realize the expensive prescription drugs he usually took were long gone. That night, Mom went to ask our father for money for Ethan's treatment. She didn't come back on that night. I called 911 on the landline and rode in the ambulance to the emergency room with Ethan. The next day, Ethan lay in his hospital bed, his face pale as paper, yet somehow, like a magician performing a trick, he pulled out a bracelet from beneath his pillow and handed it to me. It was the Tiffany bracelet I had wanted more than anything for my 14th birthday. That bracelet had cost more than $2,000. He had secretly stopped taking his heart medication and saved months of prescription costs just to buy me that gift. Carefully, he fastened the bracelet around my thin wrist,
Happy birthday, Gigi.
and I slapped his hand away.
Why isn't it the limited edition one? I told you that's the one I wanted.
When your brother starts making real money one day.
I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to keep living somewhere that can't even afford heat. I want to go back to Dad's house.
Gigi, do you have a fever? What are you talking about?
I'm perfectly clear-headed. I hate this place that leaks every time it rains. I hate eating this cheap garbage food.
Do you really mean that?
I returned to my father's estate, and once again, meanwhile, Ethan and Mom continued struggling in the slums.
Gigi's never known hardship. She's still young.
For the sake of his reputation, our father sent Ethan a monthly anonymous sponsorship through Principal Thomas. Ethan excelled academically. Then, when I was 16, Mom rushed into the ICU in critical condition. That same night, our father was hosting an extravagant birthday party aboard a luxury yacht. I received a phone call from Ethan. It was the first time I had ever heard him cry.
Please, go home and see Mom. She wants to see you one last time.
Holding the phone, I looked toward my father and Vanessa in the distance.
Dad's birthday party isn't over yet. I probably can't get there until tomorrow.
By the time I arrived at the hospital around noon the next day, a white sheet had already been pulled over Mom's body.
Don't ever let me see you again.
It was the first time in my life he had called me by my full name. I didn't see Mom's body and not even know where she was buried. After that, it was 7 years of dead silence. I jolted awake from a long, painful dream. My face was wet with tears.
Gigi, we're at your apartment.
When I didn't move, he sighed and leaned over to unfasten my seatbelt.
Why are you crying? Are you feeling uncomfortable?
I tried to raise a hand to wipe away my tears. My left arm wouldn't cooperate. I tried several times. It simply wouldn't lift.
Maybe the air conditioning was blowing too hard. My eyes hurt.
That old bastard is already in prison. You got what you wanted. Why won't you tell Ethan the truth? Are you really willing to let him hate you for the rest of his life?
Forget it.
Who was it that begged me to become Charles Vance's legal counsel and spend 7 years undercover collecting evidence of his money laundering and tax fraud? Who was it that said the moment that old bastard went to prison, she'd go find her brother and kneel at Mom's grave to apologize?
Gigi,
Julian looked at my hands.
did something happen?
I escaped the car in a mess. I heard Julian call out urgently.
Principal Thomas, the one who handled Ethan's anonymous sponsorship back then, contacted me yesterday. He said he couldn't reach you.
There are some things about what happened back then that he wants to meet and discuss.
I pretended not to hear him and locked the apartment door behind me. Just climbing 3 flights of stairs felt like it drained every ounce of strength from my body. I collapsed onto the couch and slipped into a half-conscious sleep. When I woke up, the apartment was silent as a grave. Outside the window, the world was pitch black. I struggled to my feet and found a packet of oatmeal in the kitchen. After pouring hot water over it, I tried to eat a few bites with a spoon. Only then did I realize my finger joints had become so stiff that I could barely grip it. The spoon slipped against the rim of the bowl again. A fear so deep it reached my bones crawled up my spine like a venomous snake. I switched to a fork. The oatmeal still ended up splattered all over the table. Staring at my trembling, sluggish fingers, I knew the freezing had spread to my hands. The extreme hunger sent my blood sugar crashing. I want help. I want to call 911 or Julian. But my fingers had become so rigid. In the chaos, I could only hit the emergency shortcut button on the side of the device by instinct. The call rang several times. Then someone answered. Amid the confusion, a horrifying realization struck me. 7 years ago, I had set an emergency contact, and I had never changed it.
It's Ethan.
The line was filled with suffocating silence. His voice was as cold as ice.
Speak. What do you want?
At the moment, the cry for help that had reached my lips was forced back down. Tears spilled over like a broken dam. Ethan's cold voice came through again.
If you have nothing to say, I'm hanging up. I'm busy.
I looked at my left hand, completely numb now, hanging lifeless at my side like a dead branch. If I told him the truth, would he believe me? Or would he think I was pulling another stunt pretending to be sick just to gain sympathy? Suddenly, I remembered the descriptions of late-stage ALS patients I'd seen in medical journals. Tubes covering their bodies, unable to speak, unable to swallow, unable even to breathe on their own. Living like corpses trapped inside their own bodies, enduring endless pain and the slow erosion of their dignity. I never want Ethan to see me like that. I made my voice sound calm.
Sorry. I dialed by accident.
There was a brief pause on the other end. Then came a mocking laugh.
Good. Keep it that way and don't call this number again.
Sometime after midnight, Julian called. His voice was thick with suppressed tears and fury.
I went to Massachusetts Manual Hospital. I found your medical records.
Something this serious? Why the hell would you keep it from me?
I listened quietly until he finished. Then, almost pleading, I whispered,
Julian, I can barely move my hands and feet now. Could you please drive me to the hospital?
I was admitted to the neurology department at Massachusetts General Hospital. After over 2 weeks of physical therapy, I had regained a little feeling in my hands. As for my legs, I could no longer walk without a cane. Julian stayed by my bedside the entire time, taking care of me. Not wanting his law firm to suffer because of me, I stubbornly hired a caregiver and practically forced him back to work. Thanksgiving was approaching. Snow had begun falling across Boston. I knew I didn't have much time left. While I could still move, I had to pay back the money I owed Julian. I asked my attending physician for half a day off and had my caregiver drive me to a jewelry resale shop in downtown Boston. I brought the only valuable thing I still owned. It was a birthday gift Ethan had given me when he was 19. Back then, he'd just secured his first round of venture capital funding and founded Astoria Technologies. It was the limited edition Tiffany bracelet I'd once cried for beside a hospital bed. He had remembered it all those years. I handed the bracelet to the jewelry store manager and looked at him almost pleadingly.
It cost nearly $100,000 when it was purchased. Can't you offer a little more?
Miss, this is a 7-year-old model. The secondhand market doesn't value pieces like this anymore. $30,000 is already the highest offer you'll get.
My medical bills had already drained every cent of my savings. I swallowed my pride and pleaded again.
Please, could you make it $35,000? I really need the money.
Could you move aside? You're blocking the way.
A cold, familiar voice suddenly rang out from behind me. I turned around stiffly. Ethan was standing right behind me with Chloe. He didn't even spare me a glance. Instead, he spoke directly to the manager.
Has the diamond necklace I commissioned arrived?
It has, Mr. Vance. Please follow me to the VIP lounge.
Chloe didn't leave immediately. Her gaze landed on the bracelet that had just been returned to me. Perhaps she thought it was pitiful that I, her former teacher, had fallen so far that I was now pawning jewelry just to get by. She tugged gently on Ethan's sleeve and tested the waters.
Ethan, I think Geechee's bracelet is beautiful. Why don't I buy it from her? I'll pay the $35,000 she's asking.
I clenched my jaw. To gather enough money to repay Julian, I was prepared to agree. But Ethan only glanced at the bracelet. The disgust in his eyes was completely undisguised.
Chloe, something filthy that's already been worn by someone else doesn't belong on you. It's disgusting.
Embarrassment immediately flashed across Chloe's face. Without another word, she followed the staff member into the VIP lounge. I had no choice. In the end, I sold the bracelet humiliated for $30,000. After leaving the jewelry store, I leaned against the wall of the shopping arcade corridor, breathing heavily. My hands trembled as I sent Julian a message, asking him to come to the hospital that evening and take the $30,000 first. Before I could even put my phone away, a shadow fell over me. Ethan. His face was dark with fury. Fire burned in his eyes. Without warning, he snatched my phone from my hand.
Are you really that desperate to give Julian money?
Pain shot through me. The weakness in my legs made my body sag uncontrollably. I sucked in a sharp breath.
Julian helped Charles Vance do plenty of dirty things back then. And now he turns around and sends him to prison the moment he falls. You actually think he's a good person? He's just using you!
In everyone else's eyes, Julian was nothing more than a despicable man who had betrayed his employer.
That's none of your business. Let go of me.
You're right! It's none of my business! But watching the two of you are suffering, I really enjoy it!
You probably don't know this yet. Your precious Julian has already been blacklisted by the partners of the biggest law firm in Boston. The legal department at Astoria Technologies applied a little pressure. And just like that, he's finished in the North American legal industry.
My head buzzed violently. The world went dark for a moment. Shaking, I pulled out my phone and called Julian's law firm. The answer I received was simple. Attorney Julian had officially resigned last week. It is because of alleged professional misconduct, his law license had been revoked. Suddenly, everything became clear. The reason he'd been staying with me at the hospital these past few weeks wasn't because he was on vacation. It was because helping me had completely destroyed his career. I screamed, completely breaking down.
Ethan! You're insane! This has nothing to do with Julian!
Nothing to do with him? How does it have nothing to do with him? Back then, you betrayed your family for money. And now you're here begging because of some washed-up lawyer.
Gigi, you disgust me.
At that moment, anger and despair shattered the last thread of reason I had left. I raised my trembling right hand and slapped him across the face as hard as I could. Yet that weak, powerless slap never even reached him. He caught my wrist effortlessly in midair. His grip tightened. Hatred twisted his features.
And you think you're worthy of that slap?
A suffocating pressure surged into my throat like a rising tide. My heart pounded wildly. But in that instant, all sensation vanished from my limbs. Like a puppet with its strings cut, I collapsed the moment his grip loosened. Acting on pure survival instinct, I clutched desperately at the lapel of his suit jacket. Through my blurred vision, I saw something crack across Ethan's icy expression. Panic. He instinctively reached out to touch me, but then a furious roar suddenly exploded from the other end of the corridor.
Gigi!
The moment Ethan heard his voice, the hand reaching for me recoiled as if burned. In its place came an even deeper disgust.
Stop acting. Stay away from me.
My body slammed heavily onto the hard marble floor. A dull impact echoed in my ears. The taste of blood flooded my mouth. In the final second, before consciousness slipped away, I saw Ethan drop to his knees in panic and pull me tightly into his arms. His tears landed on my face, hot and burning. For a moment, he seemed to become that 19-year-old boy again, the one who carried me home through snowstorms. I heard him crying. He kept calling my name.
Gigi, don't fall asleep, please.